Hey guys, so to start off this look, I'm first going to be grooming through her brows. We're going to be working on the brows first, which I know it's unusual, but I wanted to show you guys this because doing the brows first is definitely a route you can take. I know you all usually see me do the brows later on during the makeup application, but again, it's all about feeling what technique and way and pattern is right for you. So this is definitely an option to do. Again, you don't have to, but I'm going to show you how I would do it if I was doing the brows first. I'm filling in her brows with Anastasia's Dip Brow in medium brown with her number 12 brush. I started off with the tail first, filling it in, and now I'm working with the baseline at the beginning of her brow, and without any additional product, just filling in the center up to the top, and then flicking the beginning hairs upwards just to push that product through. Then I'm just going to give a quick brush through the hairs one more time to make sure the product is blended out and evenly dispersed. And then I'm going to take some pretty heavy duty concealer. I like to use the Benefit Boing concealer. I'm using the shade 1 on her. And I'm taking an angle brush also from Anastasia. I believe this is the number 7. Any sharp flat angle brush will work beautifully for this. And just cleaning up the baseline of her brow and spreading out the concealer so there's not a big glob. Then I'm going to be taking some regular old Scotch tape and placing it directly in line with her root of her top lash line. Then taking some MAC paint pot in soft ochre on a Luxie large fluff brush, I'm going to be just spreading this evenly all over her entire eyelid. I'm then going to be taking a matte taupe shade as a transition color. We are going to go with a relatively very dark, smoky, cool tone eye. This is a very good neutral shade to start off with when you're doing a cool tone. You're going to see me add some warmth in there later just to balance it out a little bit. But first I like to start with a neutral transition shade. Then here's where the cool tones start to come in. I'm using the same brush. I'm actually going to be using the same brush for the whole eye except for the lid. And I'm just going to be buffing this into the crease in circular motions and just getting to that gradual depth that I'm looking for. Again, I'm layering on cool tones from lightest to darkest, but then I'm going to go in with Bobbi Brown Camel for some warmth, only because I feel like when you do all cool tones and not at least one warm shadow, things can start to look a little too bruisey, a little too gray, a little too, I don't want to say it as a diss, but kind of Halloweenish, to where things are just too gray. I think a warmth brings back a little bit more of a nicer blend and just more of a wearable cool tone look. I'm then gradually adding a matte black shadow to the very outer V of her eye and winging it out very dramatically. That's why the tape is so great for looks like this, because you get a lot of control and you don't have a lot of fallout going on to the tops of her cheekbones as well. I'm then taking whatever's left on that Luxie fluff brush as far as with the MAC paint pot and just brightening up her inner lid again. I'm then pressing on ColourPop Cosmetics Supershock Shadow, and I believe this is the shade Glitteratti, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, it'll be listed down below. And I'm using a flat shader brush to just press this on to the beginning of her eyelid and gradually reaching it all the way up to her crease, and then just ever so slightly with the edge of my brush, just fading it away and also fading it into the outer V. After I remove the tape, we have these nice clean lines. I'm then going to be just moisturizing her skin. I'm using the Pixi H2O skin drink because she did have a little bit of some dry areas around the outer edges of her face, which is actually pretty common and normal. And I'm just going to make sure to really smooth this over. I'm then taking some lightweight eye cream and just picking up any fallout that may have fallen on the inner part of her eye, but also just to hydrate her under eye. I'm then going to be using the Milani 2-in-1 foundation. This is the shade 02 Natural. I'm placing this with a Bobbi Brown full coverage face brush. And I'm first going to be starting with the forehead. As you can tell, I did not go near the tops of her eyebrows because the brush would have been way too big and it probably would have either disturbed or messed up the brow filling in that we worked on. So I'll show you what I like to do to get that missing little area that's lacking foundation. But I'm just going to be applying foundation onto the rest of her face. As you can tell, I like to use more of like a pressing motion. I'm not moving my brush in circles because I do not want to spread the foundation around. I want to press it into her skin. I'm taking a much smaller brush to now do the tops of her brows, and this is also cool because you can even refine and even carve out the top of brows if you wish to do so. You guys know I normally don't like to, but if you're about that kind of look or a client is about that look, then this is a way to do so. And I'm using the foundation instead of the concealer I used to clean up the bottom just to keep it matchy to her skin tone. I'm then taking a corrector from the Tarte Wipeout palette. I believe this is the shade number 5, and just placing it underneath her eye wherever she has any discoloration and just following along the line that the tape made. I'm then going to be placing some concealer. This is LA Girl Creamy Beige Pro Conceal directly underneath her eye, and using a Real Techniques expert face brush to just buff this into her foundation so we don't have any visible lines. I'm also patting this, not swiping it, to avoid any creases. I'm then taking a damp Real Techniques sponge and using the Anastasia Cream Contour Kit in the light shades, and I'm using the more yellow tone highlighting cream in that palette to highlight the center of her face, center of her forehead, and also on her chin. She does not have any broad features, but I did want to widen her cheeks just a little bit more and elongate them. She does have more of a square face shape, so I'm also going to be just taking a little bit of the contour shades. She already has a nice defined jawline, so only touching it slightly there with the sponge and also along her hairline. I'm then going to be contouring the sides of her cheekbones with an e.l.f. stippling brush, I was gonna say blush, brush, and going in upward circular motions, fading it towards the corner of her mouth but not connecting it, just fading it towards the corner of her mouth. And again, you want to go upwards, don't ever go downwards. You could run the risk of dragging your contour down. I'm then taking a much smaller brush to do the nose contouring. I like to place the 2 vertical lines on the side of the nose, and then using the side of this small fluffy brush to just blend it downward along the side of her nostril, and then I'll bring it in closer just to fade that line closer to the center of her nose so we don't have any harsh lines, because that's not cute. I'm then going to be also taking a little bit of the contour cream around her lip line to give the effect of more plump lips. Once we have smoothed out any crease lines that may have formed, I'm then going to be placing the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder directly underneath her eye with the damp Real Techniques sponge. I like to apply the powder with the sponge still damp because I feel like it doesn't give such a dry look, especially since her face was dry before. It doesn't leave it looking very chalky. Then for the eyeliner, while her concealer and highlighting is baking, I'm going to be using Inglot 77 gel liner, and I'm just going to be creating the line across her top lash line first, and then with her eye open, creating the baseline of her wing, and then now having her eye closed, connecting the wing to the very center of her eye, or however far into the eye you want to go or aim it towards. I'm then just going to be making minor adjustments just to smooth out that line. Once we're done with the eyeliner, I'm going to be brushing off any of the excess powder from the baking that we were doing and being really careful around the eye area. I'm then going to be placing a little bit of a BH Cosmetics. I believe this is the shade Fair Golden. This is a foundation powder, but I'm just doing this to further set the highlighted areas. Also, I like to use foundation powders because I feel like they really do smooth out the skin texture and surface. So I'm just going to be running this over the highlighted areas where maybe there was a little bit more of an uneven texture, just to have everything nice and smooth. I'm then going to be also placing the Anastasia highlighting powder in the banana shade on those areas. I'm then using the Benefit Hoola bronzer and a large powder brush to just bronze the top of her forehead, her chin, her nose, and also the wider cheek areas. I'm then taking a Luxie angle brush and using Anastasia Fawn contour shade to further hollow out the contour, and then also to further chisel out the nose contour as well with this brush, but I don't have an exact name for it, but I know Morphe sells a very similar one. It's just a very flat brush. I'm then taking the Anastasia Starlight Illuminator and just placing this on her Cupid's bow and on the tip of her nose and also down the strip of her nose. I put on the Benefit What's Up Cream Base Highlighter on the tops of her cheekbones before brushing over with the Bobbi Brown Eye Blender brush, the illuminator on top. I'm then going to be stamping with the Luxie Large Blush Brush Bobbi Brown Pale Pink on the apple of her cheek back towards her hairline. I'm then going to be combing through her brows with just some clear brow gel. With a really defined angled eyeliner brush, I'm just placing some more of that eyeliner, but only on the bottom part of her eye and just connecting it back towards the wing. And I'm connecting it to also give her eye a larger shape, and also just to make sure that there are no disconnecting lines from the bottom liner to the top liner. I'm then setting it with a black matte shadow and then layering on top a dark gray. And then with a pencil brush, using that transition shade we used in the crease to just further smoke out that bottom lash line. I'm then going to be just highlighting her inner corner with the same illuminator we used all over her other areas that we highlighted on her face with just a regular eyeshadow brush, and also highlighting her brow bone. I'm then taking the NARS Rue Bonaparte nude eyeliner just in her inner waterline. Again, this is going to give her eyes a much wider look. I'm then going to be placing on the lashes. I believe these are the Elegant Lashes in 415 from elegantlashes.com. I'm using tweezers to apply them. You can use your fingers, whatever floats your boat. I'm then using the Schwing liquid eyeliner from The Balm Cosmetics, which is my favorite liquid liner. And then just giving her lashes a nice coat of mascara, top and bottom. I've been really loving doing mascara after lashes, so they have this bond of the mascara and the false lashes together. It makes the wear much longer, and I think it just makes the application a lot easier. You avoid the sticking of the bottom lashes to the top lashes when you're applying the top ones. For her lip color, I am going to be using Poison from ColourPop Cosmetics. It's one of their lippy sticks, matte lippy sticks. I like these because they're not super matte and uncomfortable. They actually have a little bit of a sheen, as you can tell, but they're not super glossy. And then just cleaning up her lip line. I'm then taking a real hair brush and just softening up the line that was created with the tape. I don't like to see a very harsh line from the tape, although it does help with guiding. But once you are done with the eyeshadow, there's no need for it anymore. Then after spraying some setting spray, this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.